Well, but I wonder what would have happened if instead of everyone arguing about what we didn't agree on, if maybe we had started the conversation a different way. It's like, okay, I think we can all agree that this A shouldn't have happened. That B, whether or not it was the cause of death, excessive force was used.
Speaking of George Floyd, FYI.
Yeah, speaking of George Floyd. And I think most of us, if not all of us, can agree with that. And I think we can all agree that at least it's not like more training is going to hurt cops.
No.
It's not like more training is going to hurt civilians that interact with cops. And I think we can all agree that taking away funding is not going to lead to more training.
No, that's going to lead to shittier cops because
well, it's going to lead to shittier cops or no cops, and we've already seen what that leads to.
Well, no cops, yeah, but the thing is, though, you're going to have those, like, you're going to have the bottom of the barrel people wanting to apply for those positions just because they hate a certain type of people.
You're going to get if the training is easy, you're going to get the type of people that just get their rocks off being handed a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
And get off on the power play.
You know, honestly, like,
well, we know
there are good cops and bad cops, but exactly what you just said. A lot of them are drunk on power.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's
even if they're good.
Well, that's why you need the checks and balances. And I agree with a lot of things they're talking about, where the immunity standards need to be completely reviewed, and there needs to be I don't think anyone's disputing this, but that's not what we're talking about in terms of the major media.
Right.
I think this is all stuff that we can agree on.
Investigations. And, you know, I know, obviously they always have internal investigations, you know, when incidents like this occur, but...
Have it investigated by a different precinct.
Well, I mean, yeah, I totally agree, because then, but... Or, I hate to say this, like, have I know it's going to cost more money, but have an additional, like... Obviously it's not a police department, but it's more like a... Not an internal affairs, but like an outside source, and
that investigates that. Yeah.
They're specific. It's like a court, but their specific role is 100% cases like that. Because I'll tell you what, those cases happen all the time.
Yeah.
And there's investigations in a lot of precincts, and so therefore, I mean, obviously.
And they would handle things like people being accused of planting evidence. I was just listening to Joe Rogan podcast again. He had a lawyer on. And he was talking about, and I forget the guy's name, but he was talking about, I think it was in the news recently because he got exonerated not that long ago. Because they were talking about Kamala Harris, but then he was talking about his client in New York who was on death row for 18 years for a rape and murder that he did not commit. And the prosecution continually blocked DNA evidence from being accessed. This wasn't Harris, this was in New York, but they were talking about the same thing. And it's like, he told the story about how the guy... after he got released, they filed a civil suit, obviously. And the guy, they were waiting to hear the verdict, and they were outside, and I guess the guy who got set free was smoking a cigarette. And when he was done with the cigarette, he put it out, and then took out a little plastic baggie, he put the cigarette butt in it, sealed it, and put it in his pocket. And the lawyer's like, what are you doing? He's like, you really think I'm going to leave DNA anywhere ever again? I'm like, shit.
18 years, goddamn.
You smarten up real quick.
His ass was on the frying pan, and he hopped off, and he's like, no, you ain't getting me back on there.